Well,
That
you sold me. I'm I'm all in on that idea because I'm with you. I'd love to have Jared Williams, just for the experience. I really really think we need experience, but it's hard to pass up a prospect like Walker. Being young and that talented. I mean, our line is just. I think we'll be better this year on our line for all the reasons you brought up. A new coach, everyone came back. Just the nature of the Lashley offense. But man, we were hurting in that position.
Yeah, man. I say this. I'm pleasantly surprised with Coach Justice so far, man. Landing two of the top four, offensive linemen in South Florida already. Obviously Seymour is, he's committed too, but he's been committed since two coaches ago. So, but.
Oh man, yeah. That his recruitment process is scaring me a little bit. But I wanted to ask you. I'm going to ask you about two positions, but the first one I want to ask you is about the quarterback position in the 2021 class. I know you and we were talking the other day about your boy Garrett. He committed to LSU yesterday. What QB prospects do you like the most in this 2021 class, and which ones do you think Miami has an actual shot at?
Man, the easy answer would be Jalen Milroe. I actually, whenever I'm really nerdy. I kind of keep my own board in my phone of all the guys I like, and basically since the very beginning, I believe that Garrett was the best passer in this class, and I really like Jalen Milroe as an overall quarterback. So Jalen Milroe would be the one. He's currently committed to Texas, so obviously, that's going to be a push to flip someone. It's kind of interesting, what could end up happening because, you got to look at, Miller Moss. I don't think he wants to leave California, but his only option would be to commit to USC, and then that would either push Jake Garcia to not be committed anymore, or they both would be, two of the top quarterbacks in the country at the same school at the same time. So I honestly think if he committed to USC, then that opens the door back up for Jake Garcia, which obviously anybody would, that in Miami fans should know we would love to have him.
Yeah. I mean, he has visited Miami, correct?
Yes, multiple times. I think he came down 2 to 3 times. Okay. Whenever Enos was here.
So, yeah, I remember, the hype was huge when he came and visited because, the kid is an incredible prospect. And I remember that he was interested in Miami for a second. And I didn't even think about, the situation with him and Miller Moss because one is going to go to USC and, that guy is going to be the future for that school. And then the other guy's just kind of, well, all right. What do you think about, I think his name is DeMartrius Davis. He's committed to Virginia Tech right now, dual threat quarterback. I heard that there's a possibility that he could be interested in Miami. What are you hearing on that guy?
Yeah, he's interested in Miami. Obviously, he's committed to Virginia Tech, and he's another one that we would just have to flip. His comparison, by the industry experts is Derek King. That's his comparison. So you look him up, and it says comparison Miami Hurricanes Derek King. So it's kind of funny. What I will say is, obviously, we have the kid Aaron McLaughlin, which I know a lot of people like. I like him as well. Being a Georgia boy, I like him. I think Aaron McLaughlin is a lot like Tyler Van Dyke, and I'm really big on having multiple type quarterbacks when you have basically an offensive guru like Lashley, who could basically change the scheme based on the quarterback, at any time. So, yeah, Demetrius Davis is a good option, but he's basically would be a direct replacement for Derek King. You know what I'm saying? So Same way with Aaron McLaughlin. I think he's basically a Tyler Van Dyke 2.0. They're very similar. Both of them are very similar to existing players on the roster. So That's why I'm really interested for somebody like Jalen Milroe, or Garrett Nussmeier, because we don't have nobody like either one of those on the roster, in my opinion.
Okay. And then wide receivers. You and I, we've talked in depth about the incredible talent that this class has at the wide receiver position. A lot of guys in South Florida. Malik Neighbors is in Louisiana. I know that a lot of people are talking about the wide receivers. I don't think that it's as much of a need because, we have, those 4 true freshmen and Jeremiah Payton's a redshirt freshman. We have the depth and everything like that at the wide receiver position. But then again, we got to land at least, in my opinion, 2 guys at wide receiver. And it was just kind of announced that Ja'Cory Brooks is going to be committing to Florida, big-time wide receiver. Who should be on Miami's radar? Which wide receivers do you like the most in this class?
Oh man, wide receiver is such a there's so many options. There's one really there's a couple, but there's a couple guys that I really look at because we need a little bit of different type receiver in this class, in my opinion. Obviously Malik Neighbors, absolutely would love to have him. Another Louisiana wide receiver that I really like that I don't see many people talking about is Keon Coleman. He's 6'4". He's a basketball star. I really, really like him. He's something we don't have. We don't have a 6'4" wide receiver in our wide receiver room. So he's somebody I really, really, really like. Marcus Burke out of Jacksonville. I think if the Ja'Cory Brooks things happens, he's going to be in a position because I think he was the wide receiver that Florida wanted. And now since Ja'Cory Brooks is coming, he may not have a spot at Florida anymore. So he's another one. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Romello Brinson. I would love to have Romello Brinson. Jacoby George, his comparison is Amon Richards. So, absolutely would love to have Jacoby George. But quite honestly, the way I look at it, we need to get a really big body receiver in this class, and then we need what I call an offensive weapon, which we've never really had to have in Miami because we haven't had this type of offense before. But when I say offensive weapon, I'm talking about like a Yule Brown, Rashad Smith, Christian Leary, these kids that are like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", and can basically be a running back, slot receiver hybrid. And basically anything inside the hashes or even outside the hashes, but mainly inside the hashes, they could just attack you from anywhere, So that's what we need in this class. I think if we could get like a class of Romello Brinson, a Keon Coleman, Malik Neighbors, and then Rashad Smith or Yule Brown, man, you're talking about a crazy offense moving forward. I get what you're saying about 2 wide receivers in this class. I still have us having 3 wide receivers and then 1 weapon because I know we have a lot of young guys, but when we start having 5 receiver sets in a spread here and there, we're going to need guys. They're going to be gassed. So yeah. I still think we need 4. We need 1 weapon and 3, outside receivers.
Okay. So I want to have you switch sides of the ball to defense. I'm on 247 right now, looking at the offers that we've sent out. We've only offered 4 guys at inside linebacker. We have 22 offers out to outside linebackers. Only 2 commits for this next class. Both 3-star guys, Tyler Johnson and Ja'Cory Hammett. So we were talking to Manny Navarro about just kind of the lack of depth at linebacker. And then the Marsh and I were saying, we have Sam Brooks and Avery Huff, 2 guys that seem to have a ton of upside. But after that, it's just a whole cupboard full of question marks. What's your take on our linebacker situation?
So when you look at linebacker in this scheme, you're basically looking at 2 positions, in my opinion, because I don't consider obviously striker's not a linebacker. Uh-huh. So, I think we're going to take 3 linebackers in this class. I think the 2 guys we have, and then I think they're really wanting to get Jaden Hood. I'm trying to pull up our roster now because I know there's a bunch more guys. Obviously, we got Steed, we got Wilder, we got Joyner. We have other linebackers that have honestly been injured since they've been here. So,
yeah, but to me, I'm not betting on that though. I know that they're talented kids, but like I want to go to bed at night just, I'm not going to feel comfortable saying, oh, we got this kid who's been here for 2 years, but he's never played a single game for us. Like that doesn't do it for me,
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think if we got in a pinch, I mean, obviously Zach McLeod's going to be a linebacker, and I could see either Huff or Brooks being the other linebacker starting.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, if we really got in the pinch, our safety depth is so much better than what it usually is that we could move Amari Carter to linebacker and not skip a beat. I mean, honestly.
I wouldn't mind that. I think Carter's kind of going to get pushed out of a whole bunch of playing time this year, so I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, that especially once I heard they were going to put Keontra Smith at striker, which I think is a great idea because I think we have a ton of safeties. We have a ton of depth at safety. We could bring Amari Carter up to linebacker. He's a blazer at linebacker, and then Keontra Smith at striker with Frierson battling out, and I think would be in good shape. In good shape at linebacker. Obviously, I think they're going to bring in 3 guys at linebacker. Would they take a 4th? Yes, if it's best available. But I think they really like Tyler Johnson. They really think they compared Ja'Cory Hammett to Sam Brooks. And I think they take a Jaden Hood at middle linebacker. And honestly, unless it's an elite guy, like I think it's Xavion Sorey. He's a linebacker I know they really like. I think he's probably the best linebacker in his class, in my opinion. He's not rated that way, but I think he's still a top 200, top 150 player. They go with those 3 guys in this class.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I like the idea of Carter playing linebacker, but at some point, Rumpf and Patke are gonna Ephraim Banda a beer or something for his recruits, they're saving their butt, having Avante Williams play some slot corner and Carter play some linebacker. So,
Yeah, man, it's one of those things. Like, so many Miami fans are like, man, we need to get rid of Banda. I'm like, man, Coach Banda has basically carried the recruiting on defense and even offense. I mean, he was the primary recruiter for Don Chaney. I mean.
Yeah, well, and he was the one that pulled Avante Williams. I guess that's in his class, but I mean, dude, I'm really worried about our corners. I'm worried about our linebackers. Safety is the only position that I'm hyped about, looking like 3 years ahead. I guess defensive end is great too, but other than that, man, I'm not comfortable with any of our position groups.
Yeah, I just don't see Manny Diaz having like a bad defense. Like
exactly, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I've been worried every year since he's been here. What are the defensive tackles gonna do whenever McIntosh and those guys left? Oh, here comes Gerald Willis. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's gonna happen when Joe Jackson leaves? Oh, here comes Gregory Russo, the monster. It's like every time.
I have to say though, like. Last year was statistically the worst season under Manny Diaz on defense. I understand that we were still 13th, but we regressed, and I think our talent is regressing as well. I do not think this is as talented of a defense as we had in 2013 or 2017. I think we lost a lot of talent on defense. I mean, we brought in Roche and Phillips, but other than that, I think every other position got worse, I guess. Maybe you could say safeties will get better because we'll have a full year of Bubba Bolden.
You think so? You think that a Chance Williams and a Cam Williams and Quentin Williams and every other Williams on the team is not better than the existing defensive ends?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think top to bottom our defense, depth included, is as talented as it has been in the last few years. I still think we'll be a good defense this year, but I'm worried in the direction that we're trending because I see a downtrend, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that we were 13th last year. I'm worried that we're 19th this year, and then we're 28th the following season.
I don't have that. I don't have that vision at all. Honestly, I think it's going to be better, in my opinion.
Well, I think if I may, I think one thing that made the 2017 defense great was, I mean, they created